Hello and welcome back to another live edition of Squared Circle Radio right here on our YouTube channel. If you're just listening on podcast, ignore what I just said. It doesn't matter where you're listening, where you're watching. We just appreciate you being here. My name is Chris Belcher. That's the Young Buck, Andy York. And Andy, we are officially 6 days away from the Royal Rumble, your favorite pay-per-view. So I have to ask you right off the bat before we get into the show, with it being your favorite pay-per-view, and you have, I think I can quote you from this podcast saying the forgotten Royal Rumble coming up this weekend. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling the same way I was when it was announced where it was going to be. I'll put it like that. My feelings for this has not changed. I'm still excited for it, but I still don't think it's going to be a memorable Rumble unless something happens, which we'll talk about when we're previewing the show.
Yes, of course. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll be right here to cover it for you, though, whatever does happen, because we're officially on the road to WrestleMania Las Vegas Part 2. That is WrestleMania 42 coming up in April. And of course, the Rumble marks the kickoff to that in a new stadium in Saudi Arabia. We see the WrestleMania sign for the first time. All of the things that we all get excited about, even though it's happening, Andy, on the other side of the world, it's still all the things we get excited about. So we'll get into it. But anyway, regardless, glad that you guys are here with us. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us so much. And if you're live on the show with us on YouTube, drop your comments, drop your questions, drop your Royal Rumble predictions. We want to hear them all. We want to talk about what you want to hear about. So I know I've got a lot of messages already before the show even started about Raw and about the Rumble and all this, that, and the other. So really excited to dive into it. Hope you guys will join us live in the comments. If you're not live with us, you can still drop comments and questions. We'll take each and every one of those. Andy, before we get to the Rumble and before we get to an unexpected ending to Monday Night Raw, shall we say, Saturday night's main event was this past Saturday. And Andy, I don't know how you felt about it. That was probably the best wrestling Saturday night's main event that we have seen since they brought it back. I mean, yes, Cody and Jacob didn't actually have a match, but the angle was pushed further. It's exactly what I thought should happen in one way or another. But Andy, the other three matches, the wrestling was just, I was sports entertained for the 2 hours. Let me just say that.
Yeah, I think it's very easily the best Saturday night's main event we've got from top to bottom. It was phenomenal from the beginning to the end of the entire show. From Jacob jumping Cody in his entrance, which nobody's done before in that spot, and if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Jacob.
As I was watching that, the thought went through my head, man, nobody has ever, and the minute that I said that, boom, it happened.
That was absolutely amazing. I think my main takeaway from Saturday night's main event is how much more I now hate AJ and Nakamura from WrestleMania 34. Because from an outside perspective, it's a fine match. You were there in person for it. It's a fine match.
It is fine.
It's fine. That's the best definition of it. It's not bad. It's not like the worst thing in the world.
Right.
But it's not what either one of those guys is capable of. If you ever saw their match in the Tokyo Dome and then you saw that, you were highly disappointed. And then this match happened and you go, oh yeah, Shinsuke is really good at wrestling, like really good at professional wrestling. AJ Styles is really good at professional wrestling. Why did we not get this on the biggest stage of them all for the WWE Championship like we were supposed to? I think that was my main takeaway is like, oh yeah, these two guys are great. We only got this like 3 times and it was about low blowing each other the entire time. Yeah. When it should have been about, oh yeah, who's better? Like that's the easiest story to tell between these two.
City Kitty in the chat with us saying Saturday night's main event was phenomenal. Yes, it was. Glad she used that word because that's who we're talking about. Andy, I'll say this about your assessment there. They weren't calling back the WrestleMania 34 match.
No, they were not.
They were calling back Wrestle Kingdom. So
yes, they were.
If that tells you anything, just Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely incredible match. I thought the Fatal 4-Way main event was really, really good. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. I didn't think Trick Williams shined as much as I thought he would, but I didn't think he had a bad showing. I just thought, he was going to be the one coming out looking like $1,000,000. But regardless, I think my favorite match, as much as I loved AJ and Shin, I think the women's tag match was top notch, dude. That false finish where Raquel Rodriguez pulled Rhea onto the referee it was money. Like, whoever came up with that spot just deserves a raise. Like, that was money. So just a great night overall. One thing that I noticed real quick before we move on, Joe Tessitore wasn't there. Obviously, travel, obviously, the weather and the whole 9 yards, which, by the way, if you're watching or listening to this and you're dealing with the weather in any way, shape, or form, our thoughts and prayers are certainly out to you. Andy and I count us and our families very blessed that we haven't been tremendously affected, even though we are here in the Nashville area. We have not been affected as much as a lot of people have. So, thoughts and prayers out to everybody who is still suffering from what's going on. And maybe there's another one to come next weekend, but we won't worry about that. What I was going to say is Stephanie McMahon hosted this. And Andy, in the first match, I don't know if you caught this or not in the Cody Jacobs stuff, but you know how they always flash up the graphic with the personnel and they'll say, this person's on commentary, this person's the backstage, et cetera, et cetera. They put Stephanie McMahon on there and her title underneath was Okerlund. They're calling it the Okerlund position in reference to Mean Gene, which I did not know. I don't think that's public knowledge, but that is really, really cool that they do that. I hope other people caught that little nugget.
Yeah, I did not see that. So to see that that's what her position was or what they're calling that, I think that's brilliant. I think that's really smart of them to do that.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into why we are here, Andy. The Royal Rumble this Saturday from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We're not going to hold that against them. We're just going to say it is the road to WrestleMania, and it kicks off this coming Saturday. We mentioned Saturday night's main event. We mentioned that fatal 4-way. And Andy, it was Sami Zayn, the underdog, my prediction, cough, cough, to win this match, coming out on top. And he will be facing Drew McIntyre coming up this Saturday at the Royal Rumble. Now, Andy, before we predict this match, I know that I said it was my pick. And I predicted it the night that Drew won the championship. So I'm going to stop Barry Horowitzing, patting myself on the back, okay? What do you think of just how this all transpired? It was in Montreal and Sammy's hometown, and just the way that we're looking towards next weekend.
I think it's probably the best decision out of the four of them.
Yes.
To have it be Sammy in Saudi Arabia to go up against Drew. I really enjoyed the match, like you mentioned, that fatal 4-way. I don't know if Trick Williams shined, but he looked like he belonged, and to me that means it was a shining moment for him. So, like, he didn't seem like the new guy that was out of step or was trying to do too much. He looked like he had been there before, and I think that was really important for him to be a part of that. I think Sammy again is a great call. I think he's going to be the hometown favorite, even though he's not hometown, but they love him in Saudi Arabia. So I think it's just going to be a great moment. I can guarantee you his music is going to start the night off. He's going to come down to the ring. He's going to get that place fired up. And that's going to be where the fun ends probably for them. I think that's been his spot the last couple of years in the Rumble. It has been that moment. And I think maybe this year they're doing it on purpose to build to what's coming in the future. So I don't know necessarily if he's going to have anything to do with WrestleMania this year, but I think he's going to have a big part of WrestleMania next year. And I think they plant even more of those seeds at the Rumble.
Okay. All right. So you're liking maybe Sammy gets beat at the Rumble and somehow this parlays into a big WrestleMania spot. And maybe finally that world title win next year when WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. Are we putting that prediction on the books right now?
It's my early favorite, I think, right now. And don't be shocked. Listen, if the Rumble is in Montreal, then I think you can almost guarantee the final two is going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and Sami's going to win and then go to WrestleMania and potentially win the world title. But I'm not saying that's my full prediction right now for what is WrestleMania 43.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's a good possibility that they are planning that.
I'm with you. Well, it was a big night on Saturday, like we said, for Sami Zayn. I'm interested to see what they're going to do this Friday on SmackDown that is going to be from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as they get essentially, we know, Andy, the history that we have seen between Drew McIntyre and between, Drew and Sami. I think they had a Saturday night's main event match somewhat recently. And we know that Drew was the bloodline hunter for a while and he blamed Sami and this, that, and the other, whatever. So we know the history is there. So they don't essentially have to do anything on SmackDown. I mean, obviously a Sami promo that's going to get everybody fired up, and then maybe Drew interrupts him, and I don't know exactly. And then Cody and Jacob and those guys show up because they're still after Drew after what happened. I mean, what do you think? Like maybe a tag match? Do you get like Cody and Sami versus Jacob and Drew on Friday? Maybe as a
I don't see Jacob and Drew teaming.
Right. I know, me too. I'm just trying to find the combination because we know it's not Cody and Drew, and it's probably not going to be Sami and Drew. So I'm just trying to find the combination there.
I could see it being like Sami versus Jacob. And then Cody comes out to get involved, and then 3 Claymores or 2 Claymores, and then Sami hits a haluva kick and then stands with the title to end the night. Something like that. I could see that happening. But I think you're right. A promo to kick the night off. Drew interrupts. We have shenanigans everywhere. And then, something gets thrown together at the end of the night. Or Sami ends the show and we just get a big pull apart brawl between all 4 guys at the end of the show.
Yeah, maybe you could show Sami throughout the show, show him arriving, show him backstage. Maybe he interacts backstage with Cody and with Jacob or whatever as the time comes, then he closes the show. All right. As we do here on Squared Circle Radio, when we make our predictions, we're not predicting what we think is going to happen. We're predicting if we had the pencil, what would we make happen? How would we book this thing? So, Andy, you sort of already gave somewhat of a prediction that the fun stops after the music, but let's get it on record. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. How would you book it this Saturday at the Rumble?
I think the best way that I would book it at the Rumble would be to have Drew dominate a majority of it, and then to have Sami hit his big comeback, come firing up, maybe even hit his finisher, get the 1-2, Drew kicks out, everything kind of goes like it is, and then I don't want there to be shenanigans at the end of it.
Right.
I just want Drew, maybe like, and when I say shenanigans, I don't want Cody running in. I don't want Jacob running in. Maybe while the referee's head is turned or something, he low blows Sami, or the turnbuckle gets pulled off and Sami goes for his finisher, breaks his ankle, turns around into Claymore, 1, 2, 3. But I do see Drew McIntyre dominating a lot of the match, facing the comeback, and then getting the win and retaining the title.
What if the shenanigans at the end? You said no Cody and no Jacob. What if it's Kevin Owens?
I thought about that. I think he would be more of a surprise in the actual Rumble.
Yeah, I would think so too. But maybe he's not ready to wrestle yet. So maybe he's just, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
I could see him coming out with Sami, but I don't think unless he's ready to wrestle, I don't think he would get involved. And even then, I don't think he would get involved in that match.
Okay. All right. The way that I would book this thing is pretty much how you said book it. Let Drew dominate. I see this. If you remember the Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn match from Elimination Chamber 2023, I think this is a copy and paste of that match. Like Roman took advantage of the majority of that match. Drew will do the same. What's the best way to get heat on a heel? Do it in front of the babyface's hometown. Drew's going to dominate. I think Drew will also make it feel just as close of Sami winning the championship as Roman did. because Drew has that ability. You're going to think that it's Sammy. He's going to hit multiple haluva kicks. And Drew is, I mean, I would love to see Drew with the Kevin Owens spot of the finger on the rope at 2.9, just something ridiculous like that. And then Drew walks away champion, because to your earlier point, Andy, you said in the Fatal 4-Way Saturday Night's Main Event, this was the best decision they could make. One of the reasons that I lean towards that being the best decision is I think you could, this is probably not a sexy pick. You could go Drew Randy at WrestleMania if you had to. It's not the best of picks. You could really get people to rally around Randy and winning that 15th championship at WrestleMania, though. So I know a lot of people said Randy to win this, to win the Fatal 4-Way. Maybe that's the direction they're going out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great option that you could do as well. And not even necessarily have Randy win the Rumble, but just have Randy, win the Elimination Chamber, and then go from there to face for WrestleMania. So I don't think it's probably the top option, but I don't think it's like a bad option either. I think if we saw in the card Randy versus Drew, I think it does not main event one of the nights of WrestleMania.
Correct.
But it would be a great world championship match for WrestleMania.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And there's still this huge possibility that we're getting a triple threat with Cody, Jacob, and Drew at WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber or whatever. That's very, very possible. We'll get into that in just a second, though. City Kitty in the chat with us. By the way, if you're live with us and you have comments, you have questions, you have Royal Rumble predictions, drop them in the chat. We'll flash them up here on the screen. We'll talk about them, all of those things. City Kitty says, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see Sammy as being on the same level as Drew, Cody, or even Jacob Fatu. I agree with that. I have long agreed with that. But here's why I understand why they're doing it. It's the same reason that you gave Sammy the shot at Roman at Elimination Chamber in 2023. It's not the fact that it's just Sammy's hometown. It's the fact that you have to have him in a favorable circumstance to feel like the ultimate underdog and to feel like this could be the moment that they push all their chips in on Sami Zayn, because you're not going to do just a random Sami Zayn win in Anaheim, California. Like that's not going to do anything for a championship. Even in Madison Square Garden, as crazy as those crowds could be, you got to do it in the most favorable circumstance possible for Sami. So City Kitty, I agree with this. And Andy, I know you're a longtime Sami supporter. I like him. I don't see him as that top guy, but if you're going to give him a shot and make it feel like this could be his moment, you got to do it here.
Yeah, I don't think right now he feels at the same level. I think they can make him feel like that by telling a decent story or a good story, because let's be real honest, they haven't given him anything good since the Bloodline. Like since the Bloodline,
he beat Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship.
Even then, everybody was talking about how that should have been Chad, not him.
Well, yes, of course.
So I think he hasn't been the fan favorite in a storyline since the Bloodline, since him and Kevin won the tag titles, and then after they won it, the rose kind of fell off a little bit. In some ways, I think they could get him back there. I have always said, and I still believe it, with the right story, they could make him feel, and I'm not comparing them in ring, so don't listen like that at all. Even though I think they're both really good, I think they could make him feel like that Daniel Bryan-esque character of the ultimate underdog who's always looked down on, who finally gets that big moment. Sure. I think they could get him to that point. And I think they should have pulled the trigger. Not saying he should have beat Roman, but I think they should have pulled the trigger during that Bloodline run.
Yep.
Because if they were ever going to do it and it was going to work to its full potential to make him feel like that, that was the time to do it. But now they've got to kind of build it back up from the bottom. Yep. But I think they can do it. I think they could do it with Sami Zayn. Because he has that ability to cut those promos that make you believe that he could go in there with a Brock Lesnar type, and you know he's going to get killed, but there's a chance. There's a chance that he could get it done, and I think that's what people want to see.
I will say this: I've never heard. I wasn't in the building for this, but you and I were in my house for this.
Yeah,
I've never heard a louder pop for any wrestling moment in my entire 37 years of life than when Sami Zayn hit Roman Reigns with a steel chair at the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
I mean, the mics clipped. It was insane. That is the biggest wrestling pop I've ever heard in my life. Bigger than one we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But that proves that to me, that was the right time to do it. Now, were you going to detract from the Cody story and this, that, and the other? You know, you have to weigh those things out, and WWE chose not to run with Sami Zayn. They did have him and Kevin Owens main event night one of WrestleMania to a huge success. And like you said, whatever happened after that, that was kind of up to them. But we'll see. I tend to agree with your line of thinking about WrestleMania next year. I'll be anxious to see how they build him for the next year and to see what happens. All right. So Sami Zayn's not going to be in the Rumble this year, which you long predicted that he would win the Royal Rumble this year. It would make sense. And we know that Drew is not going to be in the Rumble. We know that Cody and Jacob are going to be in there along with 28 other male participants for a shot at either Drew McIntyre or CM Punk at WrestleMania. Again, this is long your favorite event, your favorite match. The odds are way up there. Andy, you could go chalk and go with a guy like Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes to win the match. Randy Orton, we mentioned him earlier. We saw last year they strapped a rocket to Jey Uso. You can make another superstar this year by letting Braun Breaker win, by letting Jacob Fatu win. Lots of different ways that you could go with this. Andy, not asking you what WWE is going to do. What would you do in this Royal Rumble? Who comes out on top and where do they go for WrestleMania?
So before I jump into that, let me give my annual. Let me tell you why I hate this for WWE sometimes. Is stop telling me who's going to be in it.
Yeah, I know.
Like the big guys, Cody, that's cool. Tell me Cody's in it. Let people declare for the Rumble. I'm totally fine with that.
Yep.
Don't need to see a video package that Roman's going to be in it. Don't need to see a video package that Obafemi is going to be in it. Don't need to see, the women's graphic where you're showing me a lot of the women that are going to be in it. Like I like to know, like that's my favorite part of the Rumble is like who's coming out and being like, oh yeah, that's awesome, and being disappointed when like Tozawa's music hits. I'm like, oh, okay, well this is a waste of Rumble spot.
But then he gets attacked, then ISHO Speed comes in and gets blasted.
Right, it's a great moment. It's a great moment. But like I hate when they spoil a majority of the field. Don't tell me a majority of the field. Tell me just a few people, and then let's go from there. That's my sidebar.
Okay, wait, but before you give your prediction, then let's talk about that. If we know some of the field, we don't know all of the field.
Right.
Let's talk about the surprises first, because you just led us down that road. Who do you think, unannounced, is going to show up in this Royal Rumble? And what I mean by that is, when I say surprise, I think of people that are not on or affiliated with the main roster right now.
Yep.
That's my definition of a surprise. So like, I don't know who's out with injury right now. Somebody, okay, boom. Okay, maybe I'll make an exception for that one. That would be a huge surprise. Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins would not be a surprise entrant in this Rumble. It would be, oh my goodness, he's recovered. He's back.
Right.
To me, he's not a surprise. Who do you think are some surprises that could show up here?
I think the obvious answer is Jericho.
Yes.
Like, I think Jericho, I'm not going to say he's a given, but I think there's a really, 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 really good chance that he does come back in this Rumble.
Put him on the thumbnail of this episode for a reason. I'm just saying.
I don't know if he has the star power. But I still think he could be a great surprise, is if you threw Powerhouse Hobbs into this.
Okay.
And then other than that, like I can't think of because like Cardona is now on the roster, so like that was always our go-to guy. Was like, oh yeah, Cardona's in the Rumble this year. Well, now he's on the roster, so he probably is.
Yep.
Joe Hendry is more than likely going to be in the Rumble. I'll give you one. I don't know if he would do it. I don't know how they would do it. Moose.
Okay.
From TNA. Put Moose or put Nick Nemeth or Dolph Ziggler, whichever one you want to call him. I think either one of those two would be a good spot for the Rumble for the men. For the women, I mean, take your pick at a legend and pull the trigger on it. Michelle McCool,
Yep.
you know, Trish could always come back in it. Lita could always be a part of it.
I put her on the thumbnail. I think Paige is in it.
She's a possibility to be in it. So I think you could kind of just the women you just kind of throw a dart. Not as much as it used to be.
Right.
I think if we're talking NXT, I think somebody like a Tatum Paxley could be in it, or you know, a Sol Ruka could be in it. I think there's some people that are a potential to be in it from NXT. But those I think Jericho is probably like the big name, the surprise return, the one that the Rumble will be remembered for the most. Is here in Jericho. Because like, do we hear Break the Walls Down, or do we hear Judas, or do we hear something completely different? You know, so I think it's going to be interesting to see.
I think we have to hear Break the Walls Down just for the initial pop of it. And then once he sticks around, if he decides to change his music later, I think that's fine. But
or just keep the intro where it just says Break the Wall Down and then play a different song. Because by Break the Wall Down, you'll know.
You know exactly.
It's Jericho.
All right. So on the women, I know we're bouncing between the men and the women. On the women, this name has long been speculated as WWE bound. Does Britt Baker show up in the Royal Rumble?
Oh, she could.
Or do you save that for an American crowd? Because I feel like that might be one that, like, Jericho unanimously is going to get cheered. And
right.
Do you save Britt for an American crowd?
Maybe. But then again, like, we had some dude that was cosplaying Yokozuna, so I don't think it really matters, like, to that crowd. I think WWE is still playing to the American, not necessarily the American audience, but like the audience that's going to watch all of professional wrestling. And I think they're going to play more to them in the Rumble than to the actual Saudi crowd the entire time. So I don't think she is like that big of a name that they would get like a massive pop, but I do think it would be one of the names, if not the name, that gets the internet talking. And that's part of the booking nowadays, is getting the internet talking.
I think as far as the men go, you knocked out a lot of the surprises that I had thought of too. Maybe a Batista, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. The one that I thought of is the winner of the greatest Royal Rumble. I think Braun Strowman could make an appearance in this Royal Rumble. Maybe as a one-off. I mean, I don't know what he's doing right now other than filming a great show on USA that apparently is killing the ratings. I don't know, but
I'll tell you another one I didn't even think about was Matt or Jeff.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I could see both of them showing up in the Rumble for this one.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot for the men. How are you booking it? Who is winning this Royal Rumble?
It depends on if I want to be chaotic or if I want to just go with what's being told.
I don't know, Andy. You got the pencil. How would you do it?
I do. I would honestly probably just go by the numbers and have like the final four of this be Roman, be Cody. I would keep Jacob Fatu in there as like the next big and upcoming guy, and Jericho.
Okay.
I think those would be my four. I think Fatu gets thrown out. I think we're down to the three. Something between Cody and Jericho. Get an AEW callback between those two guys. Jericho throws Cody out. We get Roman and Cody, or Roman and Jericho. Seems like Jericho's about to win. Roman wins the Rumble and is going to WrestleMania to more than likely face Drew McIntyre.
Okay. All right. I think if I'm booking it, I initially said that Roman and Cody would finish this thing. But by the way this Jacob Fatu thing has happened, I do not think Cody is in the final two or the final four. I think he and Jacob, much like Roman, Seth, and Punk last year, I think Cody and Jacob eliminate each other and they just, keep fighting. I don't know why or how, but I don't think they're part of it. I think Jericho's in the final four. I think Roman's in the final four. I think Braun Breaker is in the final four. And if I had to pick another final four, I don't know, maybe it's a Bronson Reed. Maybe at least get 2 Vision members in the final four. Regardless, I think Roman throws Breaker out to win it. I think Roman wins the Rumble. That's how I would book it. And you get this, whatever this groundswell is with the Vision that's going on Raw, you get them more upset because they tried and they tried and they tried and boom, and Roman thwarted their efforts. I would go the other way. I think Roman challenges CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, because who better to tell the story other than Seth Rollins? Who better to tell the story of Roman dogging that championship than CM Punk and giving him a reason to fight for it? So I would go Roman Punk just because, like we saw on Monday Night Raw tonight, AJ Styles versus CM Punk, time's ticking for Roman versus CM Punk one-on-one. We're going to have to get it at some point. I think those are 2 of your 4 stars that were on the WrestleMania commercial. So I think that's a big time match that you could go with. We didn't mention Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar in the Rumble, could be in the final four, could be final 2 with Roman for all I know.
Yeah, that's the name I was going to bring up too. Is that's part of the reason why I didn't have Breaker in the final four, is because I think where you have the Jacob Cody spot of them eliminating each other, I think Breaker and Lesnar do that.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Because I don't know if Gunther's going to be in the Rumble after having a match with AJ.
Right.
It just kind of depends on what it depends on where the match lands on the card. Probably, if it happens like first or second, then I wouldn't be shocked if Gunther shows up like 28th, 29th, something like that.
Yep.
But I do think Breaker, they're going to have a big match for him. I don't think Seth is probably going to be ready to be back in time for Mania.
Neither.
So do Breaker Lesnar. Paul Heyman's right in the middle of it. Yep. Have that story going on. So I think Brock's absolutely in this. I think there's a really good chance he's probably number 30.
Yes.
And comes out and just cleans house, eliminates a crap ton of people. But then I think him and Breaker have that stare down, and they end up either eliminating each other or Breaker eliminates Lesnar, and then while he's celebrating, gets eliminated by Cody or somebody like that.
I got you. Either way, Brock could play a really big factor into this. Okay, the women, I'm not going to ask you to predict the final four. You can if you got it in your head. It's fine. No big deal. Who wins, in your opinion, if you're booking it, who wins the Women's Royal Rumble?
I think there's only one answer. I think there's only one option.
Uh-oh.
Bianca Belair.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
Bianca Belair wins the Rumble, and then we have a stare down between her and Jade. Because I don't think we're heading to Bianca and Stephanie. I don't think we're heading, if Raquel wins, I don't think we're heading to Bianca and Raquel. I think we are on a fast track collision course at WrestleMania between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. So I think Bianca probably comes out 1 or 2, runs the entire table, wins the whole thing.
City Kitty in the chat. I knew you'd be excited about that. As soon as Andy said it, I was like, oh, she's still here. She's excited. That's a really good pick. I definitely think she's in it. I don't think she wins it because I think the Bianca Jade story, you can get to that match without the Rumble win. So I also think there's only one answer for who wins the Women's Royal Rumble, and it's Liv Morgan. I think Liv outlasts them all, and I think, as not of a marquee match as this is, I think we get Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania for that championship.
So you think Raquel beats Stephanie on Monday, and then we
Yes.
get Raquel and Liv at Mania?
That's
I could see that.
That's how I would book it.
I'm still holding out for the TLC 6-woman tag with Judgment Day and Liv and Roxanne.
Oh no, just leave them out of it. It'll be fine. You still got Rhea and Io, and you still got Charlotte and Alexa, and you still got Lash and Nia, and you still got plenty of teams you can do that with. You know, neither of us picked Chelsea Green to win this Royal Rumble, and I'm very upset about that. Like,
I think she's honestly, I think she's in the final two. I think we have like she rolls out of the ring, everybody forgets she's there. Bianca wins, and then she like throws her over, and Bianca skins the cat, holding on barely. Chelsea thinks she wins, and then gets tossed out.
Listen, that would be good for a Saudi finish. If you did that in the States, people would be so upset because
especially like last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, we were in the building last year. There were so many boos when Chelsea
got part of it.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch Unreal, she says it's like they were chanting my name. It was awesome, you know.
It was the best part of that match for most of it.
100%. She definitely was. Okay, so lots of possibilities in the Women's Rumble as well. We differ on our picks on that one, but that is okay. You mentioned Gunther. We got to talk about it. Gunther and AJ Styles in what possibly could be the final match of AJ Styles' career. And Andy, before Monday Night Raw tonight, I was fairly confident that AJ Styles was going to walk out of Saudi Arabia victorious over Gunther. He was going to steal the win, find a way, do something, roll up, something, I don't know, whatever, outsmart him, so to speak. Yeah. And it still could happen. But Andy, the fact that we got AJ Styles versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday Night Raw, and the way that this was talked about, I am genuinely far more concerned that Saturday might be the end to a phenomenal career.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I was pretty confident going into it, and then when that happened tonight, I went, "Ooh, that's not great for his chances." Yep. And then it got me thinking. We got Nakamura Styles already, which is if you were going to do AJ's last run, that's part of it. We got Styles Punk, which if that's part of AJ's last run, we're going to get it.
We got AJ Cena. We had AJ
Cena. So like, who else could you throw in there? I think if we're going on down the rabbit hole, potential AJ Styles retirement tour without calling it a retirement tour.
Yep.
I think Finn Balor might be on the list.
Especially because of what happened tonight. Balor interrupting the match and causing the DQ, even though he didn't attack AJ, he attacked Punk. Yeah.
I think if Jericho is back in the company, Jericho's on that list.
One more. Yeah, you got to have him one more time. That's right.
And then I don't know. Which makes me think like, yeah, they could probably get without doing those two though. Which makes me think this might be it. Like this, I think there's I went from being like 70-30 with AJ's going to definitely win to now I'm like 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe 55-45 with AJ winning. I don't really know how I feel about it. I think there's a really good chance that this is it. Like this is the end of his career.
I have huge doubts, man. I have huge. Like I'm like you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say if I was at 70-30 before Raw tonight, I might even be at 30-70 at this point that Gunther's going to win just because of like, man, I don't know. Look at all the interviews that AJ has done. He said his contract is ending in February. He said he's not wrestling until he's 50. He's done this year. They even said it in the promo tonight that he's been very public about that. Now, in those interviews, Andy, he did say he was trying to work out an extension through WrestleMania. Did he get it? Did he not? I don't know. But as great as an AJ retirement tour would be, maybe we've been on it and we just don't know it. because he's always been one to say, I don't really want you to know when my last match is going to be, you know? And so if Gunther is the career killer and AJ sneaks one over on him at the Royal Rumble, we're going to have a really hard time stretching this much further than WrestleMania for Gunther to get his revenge and want to end the career of AJ Styles. So much so that I don't know that you can fit too many of those matches, meaningful matches on a big stage between the Rumble and WrestleMania. I don't know.
I mean, you could probably do like Styles Jericho at Chamber. And then do like Styles Balor on a Raw if you really wanted to. And then I don't know many more that you could fit through there. I think the only reason why I'm still leaning towards AJ winning is because I don't think they would have his last match in Saudi Arabia.
I'm with you.
I think they would rather. I think they want it to be in a hometown crowd or in the States.
Yep.
Which is why I'm leaning towards this probably being stretched out to WrestleMania. I think we get another rematch between Gunther and AJ. If AJ does win at the Rumble, but again, like I don't think we have a whole year with him. I think we are closer to his end than we thought.
No, for sure. Yeah, I definitely don't think we have all of 2026. I think WrestleMania, if he extended to WrestleMania, I think it's the end of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, Andy,
he's SummerSlam, but like
he said his contract was up in February. We don't know if it's February.
Wrestlers lie.
Well, listen. I got a message about this before the show from faithful listener of the show, Dr. Durst, and he wanted to know, he's like, what if AJ just turns heel and throws the whole thing out the window and says, well, he's not retiring? The problem with that, and the problem with what the logic that you're presenting, that wrestlers lie, yes, they do. But we're talking about AJ Styles, one of, if not the most stand-up human beings the wrestling world has ever seen. So I think when the guy says something, he's given me no reason not to believe that he is telling the truth, kayfabe or not.
Yeah.
AJ's that guy. So Andy, if he says his contract is up in February of 2026, could he mean February 1st? Could he mean February 28th? If he means February 1st, Andy, what day does the Rumble fall on? January 31st?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. But I think that could be played into the story, though, too.
You're right.
Like, they're on commentary saying AJ doesn't even have a contract that goes past. Like, even if he wins, you know, this is it. Like, he's done after this, or whatever the case is. I think we want to stay away from turning people in their last year heel. I think we've learned the lesson.
Why, Andy? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I think
he hasn't learned from their mistakes.
Well, you know what? If history is true, then you're absolutely right that they do not learn from their mistakes. Especially doing it that quickly would not necessarily shock me. I don't think it's like a heel tactic. I'm fairly confident we're going to get him to Mania. Like, I think retiring at Mania puts a nice bow on it. Although retiring at the pay-per-view you debuted in is also
10 years ago
too. So there's just a lot of factors that go into it.
All right. I haven't asked the question yet. We're both really iffy on what WWE is going to do.
Yeah.
But if you were booking this, Andy, who would you book to win this one?
I would have AJ win.
Okay.
By pulling the same tactic Gunther pulled on Raw. By having him be in the sleeper. AJ's going out. The referee's not paying attention to one side. He taps on Gunther. Gunther starts celebrating like he won. Roll up 1, 2, 3. AJ wins, and we push this thing to Mania.
Yep.
So if I had the pen and paper in my hand and I was booking it, that's probably how I would book this.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how you stretch it all the way to WrestleMania because there's 3 months, 2.5, I guess, at that point.
There's Saturday night's main event between.
Probably. I don't think I've seen an advertisement yet, but probably.
Okay.
There's a Saturday night's main event. There's an elimination chamber. There's not another pay-per-view though. It's just chamber.
No.
Okay. I assume there is. You could do AJ Jericho there, I guess.
Probably.
Who knows?
I mean, if we do push it to Mania, he will absolutely have a match at Chamber.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Yeah,
surely he would.
I would think so too. I don't know. I'm with you. I would book AJ to win this if it were me. I would do the Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin finish with the sleeper hold and have AJ kick off the top rope and roll Gunther up that way. I don't know if anybody's beaten Gunther like that before, but I feel
A
like
couple of people have. I think that's how Sammy won the title, wasn't it?
no, he got. I think he tried. I think he got the haluva kick. I don't remember.
Somebody beat Gunther that way, I think.
Yeah,
But it's been a while.
so. That's how I would have AJ win the match. Again, I love doing the tap out thing or whatever. If you can get away with it, but who knows? We'll have to see.
Here's how you could stretch it to Mania if you wanted to.
That was my next question: is how do you get there?
I think AJ wins the next night on Raw. Gunther just lays him out.
Yep.
Destroys him.
Yep.
And we don't see AJ until the Chamber. And we have a nice little callback of Gunther's in the Elimination Chamber, and the grate pops up, and here comes AJ. Phenomenal forearm. Gunther's eliminated, and then we head into WrestleMania
like it
that way. Maybe we lose a couple matches from AJ doing it that way. You know, maybe like the Raw after Rumble, Jericho and AJ have a match, and then that's when the beatdown happens, or whatever the case is. But I think you could do, I mean, especially since there's so many comparisons to Styles and to Shawn Michaels. I think that's just a nice little thing we've only seen once. I don't really think we've seen before. So I think that would be a good way to stretch it to Mania.
Yep, I like that very much. Okay. All right. As we get ready to close up shop, we appreciate you guys being with us, man. It's the Royal Rumble, even though it's 4 matches, Andy, these fields just seem to be more star-studded every single year, and it is so hard to pick a winner. I think I said this last week. I think you and I said it 2 weeks ago. You can't go wrong with about 5 or 6 people in both the men's and the women's. You can make the case, and it makes total sense. You could say Bianca's the only choice. I could say Liv's the only choice. But if Rhea Ripley wins the daggum Royal Rumble, none of us are going to complain. No. You know, it is what it is. We both said that Roman Reigns could win the Royal Rumble on the men's side. But if Seth Rollins comes back and wins that thing, or Kevin Owens comes back and wins that thing, ain't neither of us going to be mad about it.
AJ Lee could win it. Like there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Although that might be a waste if she wins and picks the Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch for WrestleMania. But
who'd say Becky's not the women's champ by the time we get to?
That's fair. That's a good point. That's true.
And we've also seen weirder.
Well, we're not even going to get into Money in the Bank and Austin Theory and whatever. Anywho, I guarantee they ain't picking NXT champions anymore, but I digress. We love during Royal Rumble season to go back and watch old Royal Rumbles. I, for one, have already gone back. I haven't finished it yet, but watched last year's Royal Rumble that you and I were in attendance. But my favorite one to go back and watch, Andy, as we record this episode on January the 26th, happened 6 years ago today. And it's probably the best Royal Rumble of all time. We just didn't get a great follow-up after it because of the global pandemic. But on this day, January 26, 2020, the moment is not Drew McIntyre winning the Rumble, which is great. Okay, fine. And it's not even him eliminating Brock Lesnar, which is also great. It's fine. But Edge returned to the ring 6 years ago today after being away for 9 years. Andy, I know where I was when this happened. I know what my reaction was when this happened. What was your reaction when Edge returned to wrestling 6 years ago?
Man, it was one of those that we had thought that it was a possibility ever since that Rumble, or not that Rumble, the SummerSlam was in Toronto that one year, and he randomly hit a spear on Elias, and everybody was like,
"It was the year."
And everybody was like, "Ooh, is Edge cleared? Like, that's the first time he's gotten physical back to somebody since his retirement. Is he good? Like, are we doing this thing again? When his music hit, it reminded me why I love the Royal Rumble so much. It's just because you get those moments only so often.
Yep.
You're probably going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I think it's probably the second greatest surprise entrant in the Rumble, like in Royal Rumble history, like the biggest pop. I think the Cena one is hard to beat just because of the circumstances behind it. 3 months after an injury that was supposed to take him out for like a year, I think, or something like that, is crazy. And then Edge in 2010 had another massive return that blew the roof off the place. I think it reminded me why I love the Rumble so much. And I go back and watch that Rumble all the time because I do think it probably is one of the best, if not the best, like the greatest Rumble of all time, just because of everything that went into it, from Drew eliminating Gunther or Brock and Drew winning the Rumble, and you have all the shenanigans going on and everything that's a part of it. But this was like the icing on the cake that made this Rumble great.
Yep.
Was Edge coming back? We missed the first spear. Thank you, Kevin Dunn. And then everything from there just really went off. And Edge looked like he did not lose a step. So it was. I remember just being so excited. And like I don't even think I made a sound. I think I was just like jaw was on the floor, just staring at my TV.
I did laps around my house when his music hit. I jumped up and down. My kid was asleep. I don't think I woke him up. But it was one of those. I remember
Yeah.
a couple of weeks before that, the Titans winning a playoff game and he was asleep and I was attempting to not wake him up. So I had some practice, but regardless, it is my favorite Rumble moment of all time. And I won't say, I mean, wrestling's opinion. I mean, come on. Like, I'm not going to say that there's no argument that it's the greatest of all time, but it's only because he was one of my all time favorites. And the fact that I got to see him wrestle way past when he should have been wrestling, it was incredible for me. But I think what made it that much more incredible, and for those of you who are watching or listening, I did not tell Andy I was going to do this on the show. What happened earlier that morning made this moment with Edge that much more special, because earlier that morning, 6 years ago today, Kobe Bryant was tragically killed in a helicopter accident.
Yep.
Happened on the same day.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
My favorite basketball player of all time, probably favorite athlete of all time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Dies that morning. And then one of my favorites comes back that night. Listen, I know this is not a basketball podcast, although Andy and I love our basketball. Are you going to the game tomorrow, by the way?
No, I got chickened out with the snow. Are you going?
No, I'm not going. For those of you watching and listening, Kentucky plays at Vanderbilt tomorrow night. Anyway, this is not a basketball podcast. But Andy, no one can deny the impact that Kobe Bryant had on and off the court.
Absolutely.
And for the community of the NBA and for those lives that Kobe touched, to lose him so soon for all of the great things that he was doing outside of the NBA. Dude, I'll never forget just seeing the news blow up on my phone and just being in disbelief that it happened.
Yeah. I forgot that they happened on the same day, but I remember, I remember getting that notification too. And, since we're going down the Kobe lane for a little bit, diehard college basketball fan.
Yep.
Have been since the day I was born, will be till the day I die. Was never growing up in Eastern Kentucky. You didn't have a team to really root for.
Right.
Like there's not a local NBA team. The closest one's probably Chicago, maybe.
Chicago or Charlotte,
maybe.
Memphis is.
Oh, Cleveland. It may be Cleveland.
Yeah, probably Cleveland. Memphis is like 8. I think Chicago's something probably like 6 to 8, something like that. I don't know.
But like we don't. Yeah, but you don't have we didn't have like a team that we all cheered for.
Yep.
And Kobe was the guy that got me into like NBA basketball. Seeing
Amen.
Kobe play, I always wanted to play like Kobe. Everything I wanted to do was to be like Kobe. Kobe
Right.
was always one of my favorite NBA players. You talk about the debate of who's better, LeBron or Kobe, or LeBron or Jordan. I think it goes Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Yep.
And I don't think it's kind of close either, especially the more LeBron plays. But that's a different podcast for a different day. But like I just remember being devastated. And like that's probably one of the first like celebrity deaths that like just hit me hard. Was that one. So that it was just a whole swing of things. We should have known then that 2020 was going to be a really, really, really bad year. But then like you mentioned, the swing of emotions of just that night, one of the greatest of all times in basketball dies, in a freak accident. And then all of a sudden, the person that you thought would never come back in professional wrestling ever again because he literally might never walk again and potentially could die in the ring is now completely healed and come back and wrestle again. And so it's a swing of emotions from that day is wild.
Yes, it is.
To go back and look at.
Yeah, it is, man. And then the swing of emotions of all of 2020. But again, that's a different podcast for a different time.
I don't want to go to that podcast. I'm out on that one.
We're not even going to talk about it. We're going to tap out on that one. But man,
like you won the national championship that year.
Yeah, I know. We definitely could have. Again, lots of 2020 stuff we could talk about. We ain't going to do it. We're going to stop this podcast right here, but do yourself a favor. If you haven't watched it, popped up on my phone today, the moment of Edge returning. And again, just that whole Royal Rumble, like Andy said, if you would have told me before the Rumble and then even after the Rumble, hey, Brock Lesnar is going to enter at number 1 and he's going to dominate for half the Rumble, I would have said, no, that's stupid. Why would you do that before and after? But Andy, during, for some reason, it was insane and it was awesome.
Yeah, I think the interactions that Brock did, like when Keith Lee, I'll never forget when Keith Lee came out. Brock was in the ring and he went big boy, like he went like he shrugged his shoulders. He danced to MVP's music. Like you don't get the Drew, you don't get the pop for Drew if you don't have Brock dominate like he did.
Yep, that's right.
And you got to give your flowers to Ricochet because it wouldn't happen if you didn't low blow Brock nowhere.
It's true. Yep. That's right. City Kitty says like, subscribe, and share. We would appreciate that. See you all after the Rumble. I mean, I think we'll be here. We'll see. I don't know. Rumble starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier in the day, you can watch the Rumble and then you can have the rest of your day to do what you're going to do. But as City Kitty said, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it amongst your friends. We would appreciate it so very much. Andy, we're on the road to WrestleMania, my friend. It is heating up in a big way. Lots of big things on Raw and SmackDown that we didn't talk about. I'm anxious to follow up on this Adam Pearce and Vision thing. Was anxious to see where Finn Balor was going to go, but I'm not so anxious anymore. Yeah. Lots of things, man, that we can dive into over the next couple of weeks as the picture of WrestleMania begins to take shape.
Yeah, the fun of the year really just begins right here, right now. And so I'm excited to see what happens. Best pay-per-view of the year starts right here. And I hope it delivers like last year's delivered in a lot of ways.
Yep. We will be right here for you. We'll figure it out. We'll do it all together. All right. For Mr. Andy York, my name is Chris Belcher. Make sure you subscribe to the Squared Circle Radio YouTube channel on the way out. Like the video. And if you're listening on podcast, just follow on whatever platform that you're listening on. Also, speaking of listening, before we go, shout out to Tom Bryce and the crew over at SportsWire Radio. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. If you're listening on SportsWire Radio, leave it locked in right here for some more great programming as soon as we sign off. All right, that's Andy York. My name is Chris Belcher. This has been Squared Circle Radio Live. We will catch you guys down the road.